Can you see yourself yet? Can you see?
Hello, everybody. This is Jeremiah Craig coming at you for another episode of Ask the Bootmaker. Today, we have Bill and Vicky here from Alabama. Bill's boots and Vicky's bags, excuse me. So let's get them in here and kick this conversation off. I'm so pumped to have you here. Hey, Bill, how's it going? Great to see you today.
Yeah, it's great to see you too, and thank you very much for all your kindness.
I appreciate you taking the time. Hey, Vicky, how's it going?
It's going good. It's a beautiful day down here.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's beautiful up here too in Boston, Massachusetts. It's like the first day that we've even hit the 60s. I'm sure you guys down there have been used to it for a while. What's the temperature down there, if you don't mind me asking?
Low 70s.
Nice. I'm jealous. I am jealous. So, Bill and Vicky, you guys been making boots for around 41 years down there in Alabama. And you first got into it by helping those people out who need orthopedic boots, custom boots for people who need them most. And I want to kick things off with a question of how did you get into custom boot making with the focus on helping those with severe orthopedic needs?
Originally, we just made cowboy boots from Major, and I had a customer that came in for cowboy boots that had a polio deformity, and we had to do some build up inside the boot to accommodate his feet or foot. And the orthopedic side grew from there. Remember that prior to that, I was already in the repair business, boot making, saddle making, shoe repair. We had 3 shoe repair shops at one time. So I had knowledge. And then I went to Oklahoma State Technical College for 2 years to study saddle making and wound up being a boot maker.
Wow. So that's what you did before you started making boots, is the saddle work, the repair work. Was there anything else that you did before you got into the leatherworking, boot making world?
Yes. I was a horseshoer for many years on the horse racetrack. My legs and back gave out, and I had to find a new profession. And I actually had a farm livestock feed store in the town here. And in the dead time during the day, I would make belts for people. So that backs my history up a little bit. So I went from shoeing horses to shoeing people.
Nice. I love it. It sounds like no matter what you're doing, you're hustling 100% between shoeing horses and then making belts in your free time, and then running 3 different shoe repair shops and saddle making shops. And now you are making boots, but not only that, you actually work on a ranch. Like, you have a ranch too, correct?
Yes, we do. We call them here farms, okay? But we have a ranch where we raise cattle, horses, and hay. And for the last 4 months, we've been doing storm cleanup from Hurricane Sally, and we've only had the shop reopen for 2 weeks. This will be the 3rd week.
Wow. It must have been nasty. I hope everybody in your family was okay after the hurricane.
Yes, everybody was safe. We just had quite a lot of damage.
I imagine if it's been 4 months. Didn't you tell me when we were talking last week that there was something like 1.5 miles of fence that you had to repair?
Amazing memory, yes.
Wow. So when you're doing all of this work on your farm, are you working in boots that you made, or are you wearing something else that you feel like you can beat around a little bit more?
Most of the time I'm wearing boots or shoes that I made. I wear a lot of high top lace-up shoes that I make. Today I have a pair of store-bought shoes on because we've been on a barn roof all morning, and the other boots tend to get a little slippery.
Yeah, no doubt. You got to be careful up there, even with the shingles. Yeah, that's the worst. And plus, sometimes when you're doing shingles on roofs, or maybe when you're doing it on a metal roof, that's really
Yeah.
slippery. But when you're on shingles, like you got to worry about the tar and everything too. And I'm sure you don't want get all the tar on your own boots that you made.
It's okay. We clean them up and they're made to wear. And I accused my wife of wearing a pair of $2,500 ostrich boots, and she kicked cow poop with them.
That's a nice place to be if you can do that, for sure. I love it. Wow. So I just want to remind everybody watching right now that if you have any questions for Bill and Vicky, please put them in the live chat. We got a bunch of folks watching right now, so I will try to get to your questions if you have any. Like I said, you can put them in the live chat and I'll try to get to them. Now, Bill, are there any special techniques that you've developed over the years to help you create the best fit for those folks who may have foot deformities or need special support with orthopedic needs?
Yes. First of all, I was blessed with a talent to be able to see within. And I thought everybody had this same talent, and it took me many years to figure out that it was a blessing, it was a gift that I could see within. So we casted with a plaster cast each individual foot. When we got the cast off, we poured it with a liquid to rigid foam so we would have a rigid mold to work from. I also took measurements, and Bobby Booth in Nocona, Texas taught me many years ago how to shell. Shelling means that you take the last of the foot mold and you saran wrap. I'm cheap, I use plastic grocery bags to wrap the last in, and you tape it in every direction with masking tape. You draw what shoe boot that you want onto the masking tape or shelling, you cut it away, and then you make static patterns from there by adding or taking away. Some places you got to add margins, some places you got to take away margins. So that being able to see within and have an idea what I wanted something to look like that would work, be functional, came from the ability to be able to see within. Now,
Wow. So
you still have that ability up here, but it don't come out no more.
Only when you are absolutely needing it, huh? I remember you saying last week that after 4 months of cleaning up the farm and repairing the work from the hurricane, you're just starting to get back into boot making in the shop, and things are starting to come back to you like riding a bike.
Yes, almost, not quite that easy, okay? I've also, in the orthopedic side, was able to invent and make some things that I have one customer for 35 years that we did a multitude of things to keep him walking, and we were constantly changing. About every 6 weeks, was making some change to accommodate him. And so it's a never-ending process.
Yeah, I can imagine. So your process of taking a mold of your customer's foot with the plastic and that whole process, is that the way that you make boots, or do you also just take the measurements and build the last from that as well?
Normal people.
No, the normal people, yes. We take measurements, take drawings, and we take a pedigraph, and we take a last that we've already got, a store, a factory last, and we take and build it up to the measurements that we need with leather buildup or blisters, other forms of buildup. We take that to our measurements. If you visit with 10 bootmakers today, all 10 of us is going to measure different ways, okay? So if I taught you my technique to measure and you went somewhere else you're going to be thinking, hey, after 41 years, I have had to come back to my first learning how to measure because that's what works for me. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how everybody's got a different technique.
Yeah, I love talking to bootmakers about their techniques and hearing how different it is, but they have so many happy customers, even though their process is different. It's very interesting to me. I'm wondering now. Actually, I got a question here from Leon in the live chat, and he asks, "What are your favorite toe shape types to make while you're making custom boots?"
I like the J toe. It's a Justin toe. It's a standard medium round toe. I like more rounded toes, pretty round. Okay. I never have liked the square toe, but I'm becoming more accustomed to the square toe. And the reason behind it is not just cosmetic, it's to give the forefoot a little bit more room in the toe area. And maybe over the past years, I was maybe a little short in the toes, and I've had to lengthen my last a little bit to give more toe room. My wife being a good example of that, wore my boots for years and always had, excuse me, always had a great toe that hurt. And so now her boots are pretty round to accommodate her deformity in her great toe. And we finally nailed her. So yes, my favorite toe is still the J toe of medium round.
Mm-hmm. I like the J toe and the medium round as well. Two of
Yes.
my all-time favorites. They're just so classic and look great. And I know what you mean with the square toe. It's not my favorite look, but they do offer a little bit more room for the toes, which is it's nice depending on what you're doing, for sure. Thank you for the question, Leon. Now, have you ever entered any of your boots into competitions or anything? I know there are several custom boot makers who like to put their boots into competitions and stuff. Have you ever found any success in that area?
Yes, we've entered the Wichita Falls saddle and boot making roundup for several years. I always got beat, and I always wondered why I got beat, and I tried to figure it out. In 2013, my wife Vicky had a pair of boots that she won the journeyman boot making contest with. 2019, I won the intermediate dress boot competition, which is the kindergarten class. Okay, so I'm ready to move out of kindergarten class and move up a level in the dress boot competition. And I had a really nice pair of boots last year that I really thought I should have won with, but I didn't. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back this year, back to the same class with a different pair of boots and see, maybe I don't know what they're looking for. And if anybody that's out there can give me some direction that's on the air, that what they might think might work, I have open for suggestions because I don't have any leather or anything selected at this time. So
fingers crossed for you.
From South Alabama, and you go to Texas and you compete against Oklahoma, Texas, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and some of the best bootmakers in the United States are there, okay, with their work. And you can go beat them. I think that's a pretty good start.
No doubt.
I'm also a little bragging too, please.
You got to. You have to. You mentioned that you're not sure what you needed to do to your boots in order to win. Do you have like any ideas at all? I know you just pretty much asked everybody watching right now if they had any hints for you, but do you have any clue into why maybe your boots didn't win over some other boots?
Yes, the boots did not have any color. They were burgundy ostrich mountain counter. We had a burgundy brown top. I did an ostrich overlay collar. I did some other overlay. So, and
It's all the same color.
all the same color, no color top stitching. Now I see that the boot was dead. It was a beautiful boot, absolutely beautiful boot, but it was
It
dead.
sounds it.
It didn't bite anybody. When the judges walked by, they didn't see it because it was dead. No color. But
So the boots that you're working on.
My thing of a dress boot, I think of people and it's supposed to be for war slacks or suits or tuxedos that to me, they always have a really dressed, classy pair of boots or shoes on, well polished, all the same color. And that was my thought that this time my thought pattern has changed.
And that's the boots that you're working on now for the competition is a real colorful, bright, lots of life in it.
Maybe not quite that much because I haven't got started on them yet. I'm running it through my brain and I'm trying to listen to what other people are telling me and to see if I can't address it and put a little color into it. At least the judges bite them when they walk by.
Love it. I can't wait to see.
You wouldn't believe what's outside my window.
What do you got?
My dog.
Yeah, just looking in.
Yeah, we locked it. We closed the door so she couldn't get in here. So she went out back and come around to the window.
What's your dog's name?
My dog's name is Chloe.
Chloe. Is Chloe usually a shop dog? She usually in there with you while you're making boots?
Yes, I have two dogs, and then both of them are normally with me. They're my guard dogs. One of them will bite you. And so we have a doggy gate up. And one of the reasons why we live my shop is on a major 4-lane highway that goes from I-10 to Gulf Shores, Alabama, 22,000+ cars a day. We started getting thugs. I'm talking about real thugs in the shop and wanting money and same old story. And so now I have a dog that says, if you come over that doggy gate, I will bite you. But when I got customers, they're put up. They're put in kennels. So they're not just running free all the time.
Yep. I think that's great. You got to have if you're going to have a dog, you might as well have a dog that's willing to protect the property and yourself. I got a dog just like that too. And whenever she's the same with people, the other day, a dog came up that was off leash, came up right to her, and it wasn't going to end well for the other dog. And I told the other owner that. So I don't have any problem with dogs that are there to protect at all. So that's good to hear that you have a dog like that as well, especially for the shop. I just got a question through from Enrique here in the live chat, wondering about how durable bullhide is. He's heard some things about bullhide maybe not being as durable as it lives up to. What is your experience with bullhide, and is it durable? Is this a pair of bullhide right here that Vicky's got?
Yeah. These boots are 10 years old, been resold 3 times, never get any care. And I'm a fan of bullhide. We make quite a number of bullhide boots in several different colors. But I'm a fan of bullhide. It's very tough, very durable, and it can be cleaned up and polished to be very presentable.
Nice. Yeah, I love bullhide too.
I wear
every
them
day.
Been riding horses this morning. There's a yellow bullhide, mine are brown bullhide.
Beautiful. Is that a shrunken bullhide? Leather?
Is it shrunken?
Shrunken shoulder?
Yes, that's what I use. Shrunken shoulder
Nice.
bullhide. and have used it for years.
Nice. My favorite boot last year was a shrunken shoulder. It's a factory boot. These Nakonas up here, but I love bullhide as well. It's just so durable. It feels so great too. Love it. Thank you for the question, Enrique. Is that your favorite leather to use, or are there some more exotic leathers that you enjoy using more than bullhide when making boots?
My favorite exotic leather is ostrich. Probably the last 5 pair of boots that 4 of the last 5 pair of boots I've made have been ostrich. And my next favorite is elephant. We make quite a number of elephant boots.
No doubt.
Ostrich has a tendency. It lasts, it's tough, very durable, but it's very, very, very hard for me to crimp. It almost always have a wrinkle in the throat area of when I'm crimping. And I don't know if you know what crimping is, but you wet the bamp or the foot part of leather and put it over a board and let it dry, and it takes the shape or memory. And I always wind up with a wrinkle in the throat area of it, and I work hard to get it out, and I haven't figured out a way to get it out yet. So,
for everybody watching, what is crimping for? Like, why do you have to do that when you make a pair of boots?
You crimping sets the bamp up to match the last. So when you set it to the top, you trim your tongue, you set it to the top, it sets up and stares you in the face, and it's easier to sew. In the factories, they do that flat. They start on a corner, start sewing and lay it with their hand, and they come out the other side. But then it goes to a steam room, and in the steam room, it gets minimum crimped, okay? But we wet crimp, and it is, I tried it flat, don't work for me. I don't think I can make boots without crimping. And the fit, you wind up when you start lasting, the fit to the last is usually a lot better.
I hear on those factory boots that don't use crimping, they break in a little bit more sloppy. Is that true?
Yes, because the stretch hasn't been taken out of them.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Jake Legg asks here in the live chat, speaking of lasts, we actually already answered this question. He asks if you ever cast feet to make a mold for a true last, and you do, right? That's what you mentioned earlier on in the live stream.
Yes.
Yes.
Deformities.
With deformities.
Only with deformities.
Yes. If no deformities, I do not cast. I understand this question, and I have tried to take like off the shelf last, cast them, pour them, and make a last from it. And maybe I didn't have but one size of that last, and it was already blistered and been used up. And I'm trying to duplicate it. Never worked for me.
Interesting. Very cool that you can use those techniques on the tough cases, on those folks who do have deformities and need that work done. Let's switch it up here a little bit and pivot to you being in South Alabama and maybe being a little bit further away from some other custom boot makers like in Texas or Oklahoma. Do you ever get to visit with other boot makers, and what happens during those visits?
Very rare occasion, the nearest boot maker to me is 500 or 600 miles away. I don't have, no one else in the area makes boots. I'm it. I have made friends with several other boot makers in other areas. Lisa Sorrell, Lee Miller, James Leddy when he was alive, and I've always asked questions and I've gotten answers. the man that runs the bootmaking contest, and I just had a lots of memory of his name. Lives at Bowie, Texas. Mike Vaughn. I had a problem for years with making my vamping counterpoints mate, and Mike Vaughn showed me a technique, and I tried it. It works. It works for me. Now my vamping counterpoints almost match precisely, and that's always been a critique of mine. And I tear boots apart and reside seam them to try to get my vamping counterpoints to mate. And so I don't have a mentor. I read books. I look at videos. I take what other people are doing and adapt it to what I'm doing. And like I said earlier, I'm now back to making boots the way that I did 30 years ago, because it actually works better for me. You know, there's a secret to everybody's technique. They tell you the technique and do this and do that, and this will wind up better. But they don't tell you what the trick or secret is, what you got to cut different over here to make match over here. And so I just went back to my own ways.
Love it.
Lee Miller graduated from Oklahoma State too. He may not want to tell you that, but he did. He was in a class before me, and he's actually been to my shop, spent a couple of days with me, and he said, "Bill, there's not anything wrong with your boots. Your boots are excellent, not finished. You need to finish your boots." So now I over finish, and if I don't put them away, get them out of my sight, I will really over finish them to the point of screwing them up.
Like shine them up or something like that?
Yeah, shining and the edge trim, and you know, the heel just being have a glass look to it when you get done. I think, my opinion, Lee Miller makes one of the neatest, cleanest finished boots there is on the market. Okay, I think Lisa Sorrell is the most artistic of any of the boot makers out there today, and I think Mike Vaughn makes the most durable working cowboy boot out there today. And you know, there's other people is equally as good and may be offended from what I'm saying, but those other people have not tried to help me.
I don't think anybody can be offended by those three. I think everybody would be nodding their head who's listening to you for sure.
And
so,
you know, I'm never going to make boots like Lisa Sorrell. Okay, I'm not an artist. I try to make boots in between what I think Lee Miller and Mike Vaughn. I try to take a little bit of both of those and put them into my boots. That's my opinion. And I know I do not have any mentors, any help.
You did spend some time with Lisa Sorrell, though, if I remember us talking last week. How did that go? How did that visit go?
I had 2 days to spend with her, okay? Vicky, my wife, was in Oklahoma City at a barrel race, and I had 2 days to go visit and set them up with Lisa. The first day we got there and kind of introduced ourselves to each other, and I watched what she was doing, and we chit-chatted back and forth. And so she said, "Bill, what is it you want to learn tomorrow?" And I said, "Lisa, I'd love to learn how to pinch roses. I don't know how, and I've always wanted to be able to pinch roses." So she said, "Okay, tomorrow we'll pinch roses." So that day, the first day at noontime, we went to the barbecue place in town to eat lunch. And so the next morning, I woke up pretty early, excited about getting to go to Lisa's, and I had the diarrhea so bad that I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital and get a shot for dehydration. And so about 11 o'clock, Lisa called me and said, "Bill, where are you?" And I said, "Lisa, I'm on the commode and I'm not coming today." And so if you ever go to Lisa's, don't let her take you to the barbecue place. I hope she's on there and heard that, okay?
Did you ever get to learn how to pinch roses?
No,
Oh no.
I couldn't go anywhere. My wife has pinched some and she's tried to teach me how to pinch them from what we got a book about Lisa and we look at the book and look at different things, and Vicky has gotten pretty good with it. And everybody's pinch roses are different.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that story. It's such a good one. Speaking of learning from other folks, I got a question from LZ here in the chat. Do you teach others how to make boots, or do you have apprentices?
Yes, I do. I do occasionally take someone in and teach, and I enjoy teaching very much. It's like you've got to cram so much into a short period of time. I had a young man out of Georgia last year, but he owned a repair shop, so he had knowledge, and he came to me and stayed a week and a half, 2 weeks with me, and we got him through one set of uppers. We did not get him lasted in, but we got him through one set of uppers, and he had his last, and he went home back to his shop in Georgia, and he lasted the boots and finished them, and then came back to see me later, and he really did a nice job. So yes, I do take people in, and they have to understand that we'll work from whenever to whenever to get something accomplished. Sometimes I have to be out of here to go check about something on the farm. So there are periods of time I might be gone for a couple hours.
Are you looking for any apprentices right now, or would you take any new apprentices as long as they knew the basics?
I would
Consider it.
Yes. The difference maybe in an apprentice and a student, I think apprentice might come in and maybe expect some compensation for them helping you do something, okay? I would not do that, but I would take a student in. So everything is so costly that if I'm letting an apprentice say, okay, you can do this, and then I go back and it's totally messed up, well then not only do I have to pay the apprentice, I got to pay for
The mess up.
this mess up over here. And so if you got a student, I try to dedicate my time to them, and their first pair of boots are going to be for them, okay? And we charge, but it's a nominal thing. We try to get our cost of material that they use back. So it doesn't cost me anything but my time. And so I think that's fair.
Yeah, that does sound fair. With your boot making business, you also do custom bags. Vicky, you make the custom bags. Have you ever made a pair of boots and a bag that matches for a customer, like done a custom sort of joint venture for somebody?
Yes, we have take the same leather that usually the tops are out of and put either an overlay or designs on it to match the boots. Yes, I have.
Wow. How often does that happen? Does that happen quite frequently, or just every so
No,
often?
most of his customers are men. And so they get a little wallet from him or a belt to go with it. Some of the ladies that I probably about 4. I've done about 4. Other than that, my custom bags are just whatever people see they want, and they ask me, can I make it? And I look at it and say yes or no, and I make the bag.
And do you use a lot of the same leather that Bill gets for the boots if you're not doing a matching bag? Do you sort of show that to customers, or do they usually come to you and say, this is the kind of the bag that I want, can you get the leather and make it?
Yeah, it's usually that. Usually they say, this is what I want. I want brown, I want black, I want green, I want purple, whatever. And yeah, and then I get the leather to make it. If it's not a custom bag, if I'm just making bags, and I use bag leathers, overruns that from a certain place you can get several different hides of overrun leathers from Coach Factory or wherever that they sold off to somebody to resell. Other than that, yeah, I can use on occasion mine. A lot of mine are cowhide, hair on cowhides.
Nice.
One of the ones that shows a picture in the Facebook page is a dark cowhide with red bullhide straps on it and a brooch pinned onto the front for decoration. That's basically one of my favorite ones. My friend that I made that for wanted red alligator on it. And so we researched the red alligator, and to just make the straps alone, it was going to cost $500 for the alligator.
Wow.
So she said bullhide because it was just really astronomical to get enough to make the strap. You wouldn't think that it would be that much. Even if you piecemealed it, it was still ridiculous. So,
wow. Yeah. And that bullhide does have a nice grain. It's not as nice as the alligator, but I'm sure she was still really happy with what you made her.
It was a real pretty red, shiny bullhide. So it did. It had the nice grain in it, and it really stood out.
Love it. Now, over the past 40 years, and maybe even more than that, of making bags and boots, what has this custom venture that you guys have embarked upon, what has it taught you about life in general? Do you have any just general wisdom that you've learned from your custom boot making, bag making careers and applied it to just life in general? Maybe you're talking to your son-in-law or something like that and saying, this is something that I have to deal with in the shop, but it works in your case, working, I don't know, in telecommunications or something like that. You have any good carryover advice?
Patience. Been very limited with patience most of my life. I've learned to just be patient. And I have to tell people, and I had a customer last year that he and I got into this discussion was, I'm kind because I want to be, and it comes from my heart, okay? But there's a line right here, and if you cross over this line, that other person's coming out of my body, and it's not nice. Now, if you back over that line and leave me alone, you're going to get more than what you ask for, but don't cross the line. And so patience, I was patient with him to the point of don't cross the line. And he realized what I was telling him. And his thoughts were that he had bought me. When he ordered boots, he thought he had bought me. And I'm not Bible. So patience is the best wisdom. And the reward is not only just in the custom boots, when you fit and function. If you don't have fit and function, you don't have anything. So when you got a customer and they slide the boots on and they tears in their eyes and they're walking and they're very pleased and happy, that's really good. But when you take an orthopedic person that's been laid up for months, can't work due to an injury, and you can do something for them, anything for them, so they can start putting their life back together, the reward is unbelievable. Wisdom.
Wow. Yes, I love it. And to help somebody in that regard, where you're helping them actually live a full and complete life just from the boots that you make, and making them so well that they do have tears come to their eyes. It must just be an incredibly moving experience to make that much of a difference in somebody's life.
Yes. And you know, it doesn't matter what you do or don't do for someone, it's never going to be better. But the person that really wants to get better and motivated and move forward with their life, anything you can do for them to make their life easier, it's a blessing.
To help somebody help themselves.
Yes. Yes. Amen.
Love it. Love it. That is so great. Oh, I think it's incredible what you're doing. I'm just blown away by it. Speaking of which, is this what you are most proud of when making boots? I mean, you must have so much to be proud of there with your farm, helping out folks who need cowboy boots the most, or just need some sort of special fit. What are you most proud of in the boots or the bags? Or let's just change it up, and I'm going to ask you, what pair of boots are you most proud of out of all of them that you've ever made? And Vicky, I want to ask you the same question about the bag that you're most proud of.
Me is the last pair I made. I'm most proud of the last pair I made. And because I try to get better on every pair.
All right. I guess the bag I'm the most proud of, there's actually two. The red bullhide bag I was talking about, I think that is a beautiful, classy bag, and I'm very proud of that I made it. The other one is a lady came to me with trifold bag, small, maybe a little bit bigger than a cell phone, but it was tri-folded over and it had zippers in it. And I hate zippers. Now, on a new bag, zippers are okay because you have the bag out flat and you can put the zipper in a whole lot easier. But the bag really turned out really, really nice. And I was proud of the fact that I made that bag and it turned out nice. So that's my two bags that I'm the most proud of.
I love it.
You know, Jeremiah, I have a granddaughter that's 10 years old, and I had made her mom a pair of boots that were too small for her. And these boots were 4 sizes too big for her.
Granddaughter.
My granddaughter was 4 sizes too big for her. She was not going to take those boots off. Okay, that's it. I'm wearing them. My papa made these boots, and I don't care if they're too big. Well, I made her a pair of boots, and I made them a couple of sizes too big because, I put an insert in them so they would fit her now. And as she grows, she can take the insert out and the boots fit. So last year she was here, and she said, "Papa," she lives in Oklahoma, and she was here visiting. She said, "Papa, are you going to take these boots to the contest?" And I said, "No, Danny, I don't think so, babe. I really don't think they have the quality that I can win with at the contest." And she said, "No, Papa, you don't understand. You're taking these boots to the contest. If we win, great. If we don't, great. But you're going to the contest with them." So I took the boots and entered them in the contest, and I got beat legitimately and with the boots. But this is a proud young one, so that may be my proudest boots I ever made. And I'm trying at this point. I'm trying to get at this point is to get all my family. I'm not talking about extended family. My grandchildren and my daughters and son-in-laws and daughter-in-laws, all boots, because my time is going down, okay, not up. And I've got a really bad hand, and I'm not going to make the number of boots that I did in the past because I can't. I physically can't anymore. But I'm going to continue to make boots until I can't. Mm-hmm. And so I'm trying to get my family members with something they can put on the shelf and say, "Hey, look at old fool made these for me."
And it's going to be so special for years to come, and they're going to pass it down to their kids and their kids after that. So that's just legacy right there, and it's going to be awesome. That's a great idea.
my children grew up in this business, and my daughter didn't want anything to do with it. And my son worked with me for years. And one day he came in and said, "Daddy, I hate this. I'm never going to do it again. I don't want to do it anymore." I said, "This is real good. It's better now than later." And he went and done construction work for a few years. And I had a friend that I'd done a lot of work for in the orthopedic industry, and he needed help. So he calls me and said, "Bill, would you be interested in coming to work for me full time?" I said, "No, Doug, but my son might." And I said, "But I'm out of this. Here's my son's number. You call him, set him appointment for an interview. You bring him in and see." So but I said, "Doug, no influence from me now. It's between you and my son." So my son went and interviewed for the job, got the job because my son could do just about anything they were doing. And he eventually, to work in the orthopedic industry, you have to be certified. That's medical law. And so eventually my son got certified as an orthopedist prosthetist. And now he owns his own company in Ada, Oklahoma. It's called Action Limb and Brace. And so I say now, "I thought you hated this." Well, never coming back to it. So,
he ended up there.
I don't mean to be taken away from the program, but you wanted me to talk, I'll talk.
Yeah, I love it. So you also have a certification in this orthopedic, medical necessity, right? You are also certified?
Yes, I am a board certified pet orthotist. I am a licensed orthotist in the state of Alabama. When the state licensure came in effect, I had no formal education in orthotics. Okay, orthotics mean braces for the limbs. Okay, I had no formal education, and so I had several people or companies that I had done a lot of work for over the years that knew what I could do, and they went before the state board, and said he needs to be grandfathered in. So I'm the first person on the licensure board for the state of Alabama in orthotics, and I got grandfathered in, and because I could do the work. I had no formal education, but I could do the work. So I retired both my license and my certification. So if I ever came a point in my time where that I wanted to open orthopedic shop again, that I could go back and bring my license and certification out of retirement. I talk with my hands too. I know you can't see them, but they're going everywhere.
I think that's fine. I got no problem with that at all. I love it. Thank you so much for explaining that. And it's going to be super valuable for folks to know that as well, if they need some special orthopedic attention to their custom cowboy boots. How do you get the word out? I got a question from LZ in the live chat here. What methods of marketing do you use to let people know that you make custom cowboy boots and bags?
Word of mouth. We've never done any advertisement with you. This is a rarity. Okay. Many years ago, one of our local television stations happened to be in the area and saw my sign and came in and visited. And they said, we'd like to do an interview with you. So they came and spent a half a day with me, following the process, interviewing me, filming, blah, blah, blah. So a couple of weeks later, they called me and told me they were going to air it. Now, remember, they spent about 4 hours with me, and they do a 20-minute segment. And I promise you, my phone never stopped ringing. And I said, no more. And local things here, they've done articles in the newspaper on me. And every time this happens, the business escalates. I can't handle the business escalating. So they are telling that there are free things out there that you can get involved in that will promote your business more than you could ever think about being promoted. And so now I could have a line of cars down my driveway waiting to be measured for boots if I wanted to, by doing local media. There's local magazines that are looking for articles to do, and I don't know about television stations anymore, but that was one of the greatest marketing tools that I ever had that I had nothing to do with. So, word of mouth, do quality, be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not right, fix it. You get you more business than you can handle.
I love it. Well, hopefully you get some good calls from this interview here with me, but only if you can handle it all. I did have a question from Brian in the live chat, who is in Alabama. He lives down there, and he is wondering how he can get a hold of you to get measured and get a pair of boots from you. How does somebody go about ordering?
251-979-3370. We work by appointment only, and we will work around your schedule. If you work too and can't get here, we will see you at night. The phone will be answered by my wife, Vicky, because I don't hear, and she will schedule an appointment around your schedule. And you need about 2 hours when you come to be measured, select leather. It takes just a couple hours, okay? So you have to have a couple hours free time. The other reason we do appointments is if the door's open and the gates are open, and this is sure right, if I'm measuring a person, I'm gonna have 4 people to come in, and they're going to start asking questions, and it takes my concentration. You've dedicated your time to this. I've dedicated my time to this, so this should be mine and your time. I do not pick colors. Vicky does all the color picking, because I don't. Hey, browns is browns, and tans is tans, and greens is greens. And if you get away from that, I'm done. So if this is the case, and what part of Alabama, Brian, are you from?
Brian, why don't you put in the live chat where you're from, and everybody, I will put the contact information for Bill and Vicky in the description of this video after the fact, so that you can easily call them and set up an appointment. And remember, you need at least 2 hours to spend with Bill so that he can get all the right measurements. Bill, thank you so much. And Vicky, thank you so much for taking this time today with me. While we're waiting for Brian's answer to come through with the live chat, is there anything that you want to end things off with here that I maybe forgot to ask that you would like to bring clarity to, or just sort of parting words of wisdom?
Parting words of wisdom. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Was
dun, dun,
a friend of mine. Hey, I thank you so kindly. I don't know how you ever heard about us rednecks down here, but thank you so kindly for having us on your program. I hope that I have been fit for your program, and thank you so very kindly. Do this again sometime.
Yes,
and
totoo. Thank you. More than fit. You've been awesome.
If you're ever in South Alabama, where 22 miles as far south as you can go in Alabama, you run off into the Gulf of Mexico, and my facility is right on the way to the Gulf. If you're ever in the area, I would cherish to visit.
I would love to visit.
I hope your music continues to go well for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Brian is from Huntsville.
Huntsville, he's north of us quite a little bit. He's right up on the Tennessee line and almost due north of here.
All right. Worth a day trip down there to you, though, I imagine.
Yes, and go to the Gulf and watch the bikinis.
Well, thank you so much. You guys have been great. Vicky, thank you so much as well for setting this up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending this time with me and sharing your wisdom with my viewers as well. We all really appreciate the valuable information that you shared with all of us today. Wishing you the best. And if I'm ever down there in the South in the Alabama area, or even just like close enough, I'm totally visiting. So you can bet that I'm going to be calling you next time that I'm down there for sure. Thank you. You guys are the best.
Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching, everybody.
I hope somebody watch.
Oh, yeah. We got some viewers for sure. I'll